right, thank you. Feel free to take pictures of the models. Like I said earlier, my name is Domena, Director of Education for Welljoy International, and also representing Zen of Hair Culture. Today we're going to be going over a few things. I'm going to be showing you a haircut that I picked up. A haircut that I picked up out in London. Basically, I'm a global educator for the company as well. So I picked up this really cool haircut. I want to bring it back to you guys. It kind of changes the concept of what we do. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been in the industry now for about 17 years doing hair. I've been an educator for about 10 years. Kind of really loving what I do. Originally from New Jersey, if anybody likes snow. But I've been out here in California for about 4 years now, so kind of loving the weather out here as well. And then to the right of me, I have Peter, and Peter will tell you a little bit about himself.
Hey, I'm Pete. I just joined Zen Culture Educational Group. Today I'll be teaching design. I pre-cut his hair first, just to save a little bit of time. So it's going to be pretty basic, just to kind of get you guys all started. So everything advances from this. Let me just be basic, straight lines, teach you how to kind of get like a slight image in your head to kind of pre-advance and to kind of know where you're going to kind of place everything. So it's basic from here. So the best thing to kind of do is keep it basic for now, perfect that, and then advance from there.
And before I start my haircut, I always like to start off with olive instant treatment. Olive instant treatment is a leave-in treatment for your hair. Think of it as taking the place of a leave-in conditioner, a smoothing cream, a thermal protector, and your shining gloss all in one product. I'm going to be starting my parting, but like I said, the reason why I decided to do this haircut was our traditional layers that we do here in the United States always go from short to long, right? It's always short to long. So I'm actually going to be changing up and going from short to long this way. Okay, so instead of going this way, I'm going to change it up. So it still gives you a really beautiful appearance. It's a very commercial haircut, meaning that everybody in your salon can get this done. And I introduced it into Taiwan, I think it was maybe a month and a half ago. And everybody's hitting me up on Facebook, and they're already using it in their salon, making money. It still looks like a beautiful long layer haircut, very elegant, but just changing a little bit. Because we know sometimes with our clients, they don't always want change, right? So we have to do it little by little. So I want to create a diagonal radial parting, which is going to go from the front of the ear to the front of the ear. So the way I'm going to find where my parting is going to start, if I think of a box, I'll take my comb, bring it here, and where the point hits is where I'm actually going to start that parting. So right about here. What do we got going over there, Pete?
All right. Well, first and foremost, before you start any design, you want to kind of come up to at least get an agreement with your client, and then try to figure out what they want. So what I'm going to start with is something that's pretty basic. It's pretty familiar with Versace. Kind of goes around the Medusa head. So what you want to do is kind of graph out both sides of this first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start right, because he had this part here first. I'm going to start here at the part, kind of go back towards the back of his head. So it's always safe to kind of have a picture to go off of, because you can easily get lost in the hair too. So always have a picture, okay? Let's start off with the edges first. Start off with the edges first. It's always, you can always repair it to fix it afterwards. So kind of get a rough draft first.
Peter, how long have you been doing this type of design work?
Well, let me see. I started cutting when I was early teens. Started off real basic. A couple years ago. 20 years. 10 or 15, I think. But it started off basic, and then just kept practicing, advanced. Then I kind of started getting into more like portraits and more like realistic things. So it advances from here. You gotta kind of master one thing first before you jump to the next.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So, I'm going to start my guideline. So, I'm going to take a 1-inch mohawk strip down the center.
I kind of get zoned out sometimes, so if you guys have any questions, just ask, okay?
If we catch you raising your hands,
Someone get my attention, please.
Yeah,
My back is kind of
also-
turned, so sorry.
all right. So like I said, usually our traditional haircut, they always go from shorter. You can see pieces kind of falling out in the front. We go from shorter to longer. So I'm going to take a section, still keeping her length, because that's one thing she did ask me to do was keep her length, of course. So I want to get an area where I want to be able to see where I want the layers to fall. And wherever you choose, there's no right or wrong. It's whatever's going to make the style a little more romantic for you, show off her features. So it's kind of where you want it to fall as well. But we already discussed it, so it's going to take off, you know, maybe like 1 or 2 inches. That's a man's 1 or 2 inches. So we're going to do a little bit of a cut for her. And also, some of the colors that we were using for our SP color conditioners from our company. And they are semi-permanent colors, direct pigment, in a conditioning treatment. And we'll talk about that as we go as well. So my first part of the guideline, we're going to angle up, bring this straight up.
Alright, so even with these straight lines, you still want to kind of follow the contour of the client's head. So even with the straight lines going back like that, so kind of bend with the curve so it looks natural, not against the curve.
So as you guys saw, my first cut for the guideline, I'm taking it going from shorter to longer. Every section from there will be brought back to that section. And the overall shaping is going to be a triangle shaping, which means that we're going to be keeping everything longer from the front and shorter to the back. And as you get it to the front, all depending on the haircut they had prior to that, it may or may not fall shorter, and you may not have that much hair to cut. So bringing everything back. And it's always easier to recomb. I notice a lot of people, sometimes when we're getting into it, you just start cutting and creating multiple guidelines. So if you don't see your guideline, you don't cut, right?
Right.
All right, yes, that was a trick question. So I'm going to break that in half.
Nick, have you ever used that straightening tube before starting to cut on a damp hair?
And you're saying how you like to use either one of these?
I like to use the RD cream for when I'm razoring, so I'll get to that right before I start razoring.
Because it's designed for so many different things. Okay, for this area, guys, we're going to be doing pie sections, starting from the back to the front. And we're going to take about maybe 3 to 4 pie sections. I took the guideline, I split it in half, so now we have a guideline for both areas. So just going from this, we're going to bring every section up and over. So like I said, really simple haircut. And you just keep your hair straight.
And always keep a brush on hand to brush the hair. When you're doing a clipper cut, it's always nice to kind of clean your slate a little bit. So.
Now, all depending how big your hands are or how small they are, instead of taking one whole section, if you need to take this and split it in half and do 2 sections at different times, you could do that as well. I'm used to taking a lot of hair, so it's a little bit easier for me. We're going to bring it up straight up, angle it back to that first section. I'm going to find my guideline and just cut through it.
The good thing about having designs in your arsenal now is it's kind of unisex. Men and women both wear it now, so it's a big trend. So it's always good to know.
Now, we had a bunch of different girls coming up to our booth earlier, and they all had long hair, asking us just to shave the side and do a design for them. So I thought that was pretty cool to see that, you know, like you said, it is unisex, both men and women are doing it. I'm bringing everything up and back to the original guideline. cut through. Yeah, absolutely. The design that I'm actually making,
It's great. Looks great.
like I said, I picked it up while I was out London. I just thought it was really cool, something nice to see. When it was styled, especially with curls and everything, it was so beautiful and elegant that it was something that I had to bring back. I haven't seen anything out there so crazy or so different that it made me get motivated. Sometimes we all need a motivation, right, guys? Right? And we're hairstylists. So every once in a while we get into a little bit of fun. We see the same things out there. I get out there and I'm like, what do you guys want to see today? A bob. And I'm like, wow,
I will always recommend, anytime doing a design, at least cutting it down to a 1 guard. That way you kind of get a crispier line. It's always tough to do it when you have more hair, so it's always safer to do it at least at a 1 guard.
You'll
Does
probably
your client-
shorten that up, won't you?
I'm sorry?
You'll probably shimmy
Yeah, I'm just gonna,
shimmy
maybe
that
I'm
up.
blending
Yeah.
it in. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
trying to get
Looks
it,
good.
Right, okay, thank you.
Likey.
Me too.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Get it?
So what about the color? These are our SP color conditioners. It's a fashion color, also a conditioning treatment. And you can also use it by mixing with the olive conditioner to give it to them to take home as a refresher. So if you have the reds that fade, it will refresh the reds. Blondes, you can put just a touch of indigo in there.
As a hairstylist, we do all the right things. We recommend the correct shampoos, conditioners, leave-in treatment, styling products to our clients, right? We give it to them, they buy it, they take it home. But we want to do something a little bit different because everybody's doing that, right? Everybody's doing that, so what makes you different than the next person? If I do a custom color, I can take out a little bottle that's empty. I can mix 2 colors together. If I did a copper red, of course I'm going to mix in a red and an orange. I give that to them to take home. They could refresh their color once a week, once every 2 weeks, right? Keeping their color longer, keeping it refreshed, getting more referrals to us. Let's say that we do a blonde, and we know that in a couple weeks that it turns brassy, right? Or more than 40 colors in a month, right? Anyone? I know I do. If you were to sell 40 of those at $20, that's $800 a month, right? That's $9,600 in 1 year by creating little fashion colors for your clients to take home. Very easy to work with, direct pigment, but in a conditioning treatment as well. So rather than just putting on a color to them, you actually could repair their hair as you go as well. We got the top done. Everything is falling at a beautiful angle, going from longer to shorter. This is going to be our guideline for the back. On hers, I actually used the mahogany red and also the carmine. And I mixed in our organic magic oil, which is for all your blowouts, oil, shine, protection. But also I like to put it into the SP color conditioners because I like to make it a little bit more translucent. I want the colors to pop a lot more.
I'm Jessica. I've been doing hair for going on 18 years. Also updos, do a lot of weddings, and I mean, pretty much any idea you come up with, you can sculpt it into the hair. I mean, and you can get really, you can have little detail or as much detail as you want, depending on the client, of course.
Jessica, I've been working with Jess now for a few years now. We just created teams in hair culture. We're doing a tour through the United States, and also we're doing a couple international countries that we're going to be displaying our stuff. But this is one of the pieces that she did today, and I thought it was just something really beautiful. And I mean, within like 5 minutes of her concept, she just brought it together and said, how about if we do this and this and this and this? And I was just kind of blown away with what she did. And it was, to her, it was like so easy. And I always compliment everybody, because we all have our own specialty. And, when it comes to updos and stuff, how many people do updos out here? Yeah, I mean, I gotta give you guys a hand of applause, because when it comes to stuff like this, I'll be honest, I have a lot of patience, so I don't have that much patience. But something like that, she just thought about it, just whipped it up, and it just came to her like that. So, Yeah, I just thought it was really beautiful, the way she came through with that. What do you guys think about it? Yeah.
What we're gonna do, with the lines even being kind of crooked and kind of even off center a little bit, you could always fix it. Now you could adjust the lines either thicker or thinner. Just kind of almost move with this. So with the razor, as long as you're stretching the skin and you're holding it at a 45-degree angle, and there's some kind of barrier to kind of keep it slick, I mean, it's pretty much impossible to cut the client. So keep the skin tight, and then hold the razor at a 45. And also with a clean, disposable razor, of course.
And that's a good point that you brought up, Pete. You know, when you said there's no wrong way or right way, you know, I've worked with so many different educators, worked with so many different companies, seen so many different things, you know, and everybody's like, you know, there's only this way to cut hair, there's only this way. Everything else, you know, is wrong. No matter how you train and what your technique is and what you're always adding to it and going to the shows, going to classes, bringing back new knowledge, you know, I think any way is cutting. And, you know, what is the most important is, at the end of the haircut, does it look beautiful? So just to recap, like I said, on the top, we brought everything up, going from shorter to longer, brought my pie sections, everything got over-directed into the center. Now I'm going to do a 1-inch strip in the back. So I can make my guideline through the back area as well. And then I'll turn to each side. Now I have my guideline already. And I just broke down to the apex of the center of the head. And this is my guideline. Now I want to keep her length, so I really don't want to cut her length off, so I'm only going to connect the top to the bottom. And you could do it a number of different ways. You could use scissors, you could do slide cutting if you like, you could use a razor. I'm going to switch up to a razor only because it's one of the tools. Straight out.
And what level was she pre-lightened to before you put the...
So here's my guideline, everything's going to be brought up, and I just want to connect this guideline to the bottom. So working in maybe 2 sections, because this is a little bit much. A lot of times when you try to take so much hair and you push these two together, you can make a hole within this area. So I'm going to break this in half, just so I can work a little bit easier with it. Questions?
Okay, a gentleman that's doing the gentleman's hair, are you freehanding all of it?
Yeah,
We
it's
just walked in, so we apologize.
Oh, no. But what I did was, before you walked in, I just used the edger first to kind of do like a rough draft, you know?
Okay.
So just kind of carving it out with the edger first. And then now I'm finishing it and detailing it with the straight.
Just cut your brow on top.
So,
What's that? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
well, thank you.
Yeah, so I just cut my guide. All I did was matched my top guide going to the bottom. So we're not creating any length taking off, so just blending it to that area. Because she asked me to keep it longer for her. Usually we get up here, we just chop it off and we throw hair out, see ya. And yeah, I mean that looks good and everything at the shows, but how much of it can you do? Can you bring back to your salon? You know, when we just chop off sides and we just throw it, and it's, you know, all different areas and sides are shaved. It looks great here, but if you can't bring it back to your salon and use it today, you know, it didn't do you much good just to see it. So, you know, the styles that we're doing today, we could actually bring back to your salon, and you can use them.
You must be a fan of the logo, huh? You recognize the logo?
No, I give you a lot of credit because it looks all freehand.
Well, I had a
Yeah.
picture. First of all,
Okay.
these kind of come to some kind of term and agreement with your client. You know, understand what they want, what you want suggested, but at the end of the day, kind of go with what they want. You know, and then have at least a picture of it, so you can kind of go off a picture. Because sometimes I still do freehand designs. I mean, if they allow you like the creative freedom, but I mean, again, you could always get lost in it. You know, so if you have a target, have a picture of it, it's always easier to go off a picture. So.
Now I'm going to take pie sections from the top, and each section is going to be over-directed into the center. So guideline to match the bottom. And I just like to break it in half because there's a lot of hair to work with back here. Now, all depending on if you like to cut in front or behind, what you feel comfortable with. I like to cut from behind. I'll find my guidelines and just slide and cut. Very simple to do. I see my length where I want it to fall. I'm just going to cut right through it. And everything has to be uniform because they do complement each other.
We do it after 4 p.m.
And
Yeah, our deep-green and olive into treatment. As far as your leave-in treatments, guys, we have.
And her husband has been our go-for all weekend, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous models, right? That always helps out.
Adriana, what products did you use in her hair today?
Stay very still.
Nice job, Jess.
Yeah.
iron or anything. Just probably got
Class, which starts at 4 o'clock, we'll be doing her up to on stage. Is that right?
Yeah, sounds perfect, yeah. So we're gonna hop switch. So questions on anything that we're doing, guys? No questions? Oh, you guys are great already.
Any questions at all? How far did you guys come? How far did you travel for these shows? Not far.
You know what you keep it on? I got 2 brushes. Yeah, we got these. And people on this cell kind of finish up with what you're doing as well.
Yeah, well,
Who doesn't have anything yet? Nothing yet.
for any kind of clipper cut, you always want to clean your client. I mean, alcohol, at least, you know, alcohol is, excuse me.
That looks great.